Good evening, everyone. This is Shobit Singhal. I'm the Transformer and Readers Coach and a small YouTube channel I run. And today I have a very special guest with me. She's a person who has done her education in the field of law. Post that, she joined the world of startup and she was an entrepreneur. And currently, she is going towards the managerial journey of being a management student. And she has seen a lot of ups and downs in her educational field, and today is we can get inspired from her. We can learn something from her, especially for the students who are writing their entrance exam for management this year or next year. They can really learn from this. So today I have a guest with me all the way from Kashmir and staying in Bangalore for many years, a good friend of mine, Erica Kasba. Erica, thank you so much for joining. How do you feel? How are you?
So thanks a lot, Shobit. Your praise is, as always, very humbling, and I feel really privileged to be here and speaking to you. So this is a great feeling because we are also great friends and
Yeah.
professionally also. So this is the first time we're meeting like this.
Yeah,
So I feel
okay. Great. I genuinely thought that, with your journey, I have seen that, when you started your MBA preparation, at what level you were in terms of, especially with maths, quants, and especially, to be very honest, I thought ki because
yeah.
of this one factor, you might not be able to get the best college. But today, you have been selected for the, I would say, one of the top 5 institute of this country, XLRI Jamshedpur, and that's one of the best, very great achievement, I would say. So I thought that why not share your journey with with all the students, aspirants, and the audience that I also have. So before I jump into the CAT and MBA preparation, why don't you tell us about your educational background? So why did you choose the field of law in your graduation? Then how did you end up in startup, and finally how did you choose management? What do you have to say about all that, your journey in your own words? Yeah.
All right. So what happened was the entire idea behind entering law school in the first place was I wanted to do something for society.
Okay.
So I know it sounds very cliche, but that was exactly what I wanted to do. So during graduation, I always decided, okay, we'll pursue litigation in courts, fight it out in courts and all. Then I realized, why not do the most good from the best position I can attain? So then I decided, let's prepare for civil services. Let's give it 1.5 years. So then I appeared for the 2018 civil services, gave it my best, and unfortunately, I couldn't clear the prelims. So it
Okay.
was a big shock for me because suddenly all the plans that I had made for my life and the whole domino, I would say, it fell down together. So
Yeah.
then I was so confused and I didn't know what to do. At that point, I should mention that my father, he had invented a machine, and then I
Okay.
thought that he's also doing something good for society. He was trying to eradicate manual scavenging and he was working
Okay.
along those
Okay.
lines. So I thought
So,
that
sorry to interrupt. For people who don't know manual scavenging, it's. Would you like to explain that in few seconds?
yeah,
That
sure.
yeah.
So manual scavenging is basically, we must have heard in the news, people who have to enter drains and manholes
Hmm.
to clear human
Yeah.
excreta. So
Exactly.
they do it with their bare hands because
Hmm.
presently there is no machine which can do it. So
Exactly.
this was the entire idea, and I joined him.
Hmm.
So I wasn't doing strictly legal work. I was
Hmm.
mainly in charge of outreach, getting
Okay.
funds, making presentations. So I was
Hmm.
gradually shifting from the course of law. So during
Okay.
this time, I thought that if I'm entering business, and I saw
Hmm.
firsthand what a difference an entrepreneur can make and corporations can make
Exactly.
to
Hmm.
society as well.
Yeah. Correct.
So then
Correct.
I thought, why limit myself only to codes or only to the civil services? Why not write for an MBA exam, become an entrepreneur myself, and then go on to this journey? So that
Correct.
is how I decided. And I came to meet you in July 2019, I think.
Yes. Correct.
So
Correct.
that time I met you people, and you told me, in fact, you
Hmm.
were a huge part in me deciding to write this exam, because you
Hmm.
told me that, Erica, it is achievable. There are certain things you
Hmm.
have to go through and you have
Hmm.
to, work on this and work
Hmm.
on that, but it's totally achievable.
Yeah,
So
great,
yeah.
awesome, awesome. So before I jump into MBA preparation, why don't you tell us about your law school experience? Your 5 years of you are from the for information purpose. She's from the same college that I am. We both are from Christ University, Bangalore, and Christ is known for excellence, of course, in different terms, but it's also known for its discipline and strictness. And it is basically, if you are disciplined, if you see a disciplined person, you should ask him or her that, are you from Christ? That's the idea.
Yeah.
So how was the experience in Christ, or how was the experience in law school? Not Christ, law school. How was the experience? What did you learn, and what did you think? Did you think law school was a good decision or something like that? What do you think?
So this is one thing that I am very strict on. That going to law school was the best thing I've done in my life. That was
Okay.
because
Okay.
even when I was a child, so you have some opinions that you like to work on, or that are a little away from the mainstream opinion. Going to law school gives you that edge wherein you learn how to research your arguments and present it to the other person. So you know that, okay, whatever the society says does not necessarily have to be right. We can debate, and we have our, so there were so many things that I learned, but mainly was how to put your point across and to learn to make your own way in the world. So I'm not saying that any other degree doesn't give you that, nothing like that, but I just felt for the kind of person I was, doing law showed me the difference one person can make to society by fighting it out in courts or in whatever way. And then secondly, to be firm in the decision that you have made and the viewpoints that you have. So my two biggest takeaways from law school.
In fact, even I'm doing a law, like not full-time law, a part-time law program from NLU Bangalore. And the one thing that I've learned, and I'm part of Career Launchers, which is a huge law training institute. One thing which I've learned from after joining Career Launcher, in fact, meeting all these lawyers who come and teach and all. I think reading is a big part of my life today. You know that I run a book readers club, and I would say after getting introduced to the world of law, I got a habit of reading. Started with the course book. I started with the books of MBL, but now it ended up in non-fiction and different kind of stuff. So so I would recommend people to, if not law, at least become a readers. And and one of my faculty, I'll not name him because he doesn't want to be publicized. We always say that if you're not a reader, you should not consider field of law. That's a big statement, but that's true. Lawyers are people of research. So, Erica, I know that in 2018 when you this is for
very
you're saying something.
Yeah, so what you talk about reading is very important. Here I should mention that I was a voracious reader. Like I would consume books, magazines, anything I could get my hands on. And the reason I got into law school in the first place was that my father got me my first copy of IPC when I was in 8th class. So he told me, read through it. If you like it, then you make a decision about your career. So once I started reading it, I realized it was just text and it was engaging for me. The way crimes, elements, and all of those. So that was when I made my decision. Okay, law school, that is the way for me.
So for people, IPC is basically Indian Penal Code, the entire booklet, and it's about criminal law. So every policeman, it's a bible for any policeman, and even for lawyers also. So Erica, you mentioned reading. So why don't you mention your favorite text that you have read, and what kind of books do you read, and what kind of books do you recommend people to read?
Okay, so since a very long time, I have been a big fan of self-help books. So I find that improving myself, any little nugget of information that I can gain, I really like it. So the books that come to mind right now is I've read Atomic Habits. It is, I think, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So there, that person, you have it. So that person speaks about the importance of setting. Yeah, exactly. It's an amazing book. I really like it because he breaks it down into simple, practical steps how you can take control of your life. Like if we say we're not disciplined or all that, he says the results that you get today don't matter. If I give this test and I don't perform well, don't feel bad, but make sure that you're putting that amount of work every day. You're following that system. So I feel that somewhere it connects with what I believe, that give your fullest effort, don't look for the results. So that is one book. Second book that really engaged me and that you also speak about is How to Influence People, How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That is such a feel-good book, right? So he'll tell you how to make the other person feel good and make friendships and relationships. So he's not talking about manipulating somebody else, but to find the good in that person and to tell them, right? So how to build relationships. So these are two books, and recently I started reading philosophy as well. So I've always wanted to dwell into that, but sometimes it would go over my head, or it gets a little disengaging. So I've started reading Tolstoy's biography. So I find it engaging because he's dealing with the questions of morality, religion, and logic. So he spent most of his life, exploring that. So that is fascinating right now. So I'm trying to shift away from self-help into maybe non-fiction and biography.
Yeah, so that's great. Good choice of books. Even I always say that every book, when you complete a book, you become a different person from when you start the book. So that's something which
Definitely. Yeah.
So
And
Erica, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
And I'm looking forward to any recommendations that you have for me, because I know that your book club has really taken off. So you will be a master in no time. So yeah,
Yeah,
any recommendations are
yeah,
welcome.
nothing like that. Is just because I'm a banya, so it comes naturally to me. So whenever I develop a habit, I thought why not make it. So that's something which I always believe that when you are good at something, that's line from Spider-Man. I'm really
Yeah.
inspired by that. If you're good at something, it's your responsibility to if you're good great
Yeah.
something, it becomes your responsibility to do something great in that. So
Yeah.
if I'm a good reader, and reading has changed my life, it has really given me a lot of stuff. Reading financial help books, I got a lot of financial help in my life. So I thought that it started with the same intent. It has grown now. I just wanted to start a small WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
People won't come, I will recommend them or something. That's how it started. But now it has now 80 plus people are there, and people are becoming RJs after reading books and all. There's a mentee of mine, Mithu. He was
Mhm.
always wanted to be an RJ, so he started a small podcast with book reviews and all. He did it
Okay.
very professionally with music and everything. And he
Mm.
is from Kolkata, so he applied in some RJ competition. Now he is actually participating in getting trained under someone and all that. I was like,
Oh,
okay, great.
wow.
So from where to where? So books can change your life. Yeah.
Really.
So Erica, let's jump into the MBA mode. Okay, MBA preparation mode. So many aspirants will be watching this. So first, I would like to know that okay, you gave CLAT 28, CAT 2018, and
Mhm.
you in your own words, in your own admission, that maths was something was a struggling point for you. And
Mhm.
in 2019, when you gave CAT and XAT exams, you got selected for the West Institute. So in 1 year, you have drastically changed from that performance to this performance. So how would you I would
Mhm.
like to know your journey in that. How did you make that shift in your preparation? How did that happen? Yeah.
So you must know, and it is the truth, that when I started on this journey of seeing
Mm-hmm.
ki, oh my God, I have to do maths. The last time I
Mm-hmm.
did maths was in 12th grade. Then it was 5 years of law school,
Correct.
one
Correct.
year of working and civil
Mm-hmm.
services, and then suddenly maths. So it was
Mm-hmm.
very intimidating
Mm-hmm.
to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was that when I spoke to, again, when I spoke to you, when
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to Srinivas sir, so
Mm-hmm.
he and you both broke it down for me. So
Mm-hmm.
then it did not seem so unsurmountable that, oh my God, this
Correct.
is like Mount Everest. Then you broke, just do this
Mm-hmm.
topic today. Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
just do what is taught in class. So
Correct.
it was like baby steps. So at no
Mm-hmm.
step did it feel intimidating. And after a point, once I sat down with Srinivas sir, the exams were
Mm-hmm.
very near, and I wasn't doing as well in my mocks as I
Okay.
had expected. So I told
Mm-hmm.
sir that, sir, this is happening. I am not
Mm-hmm.
strong in this topic. And believe me, I
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes get a little intimidated by Srinivas sir. He is very sweet, but he's a teacher and I respect him a lot. So I was sitting
Mm-hmm.
in front of him and I said, sir, this is the problem I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
He just took out a piece of paper and he said, okay, solve these questions for me. So he took out his phone, he took out one mock question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Erika, solve this. Okay, Erika, solve this. And believe me, Shobit, I would have never believed I could have done it, but I solved each and every
Mm-hmm.
question in front of him. All the
Yeah.
questions I solved. And that
Mm-hmm.
time I realized, oh my God, I can actually do it. I've just been telling myself I can't. So then he
Yeah.
told me, see, these are your strong areas, these are your weak areas.
Mm-hmm.
Given that the time you have left, focus only
Mm-hmm.
on the strong areas. You just need
Mm-hmm.
to score this many marks for it to
Mm-hmm.
be enough.
Yeah.
So then suddenly it was within my reach. Then I thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, why not? And then I started working on it and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
maths for me, maths was difficult. For some
Mm-hmm.
people, verbal is difficult. So it's just a
Correct.
matter of taking those baby steps every day,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will build up to what you want it to be.
Okay. So basically, your biggest takeaway from this training was, break down the problem. Don't look
Yeah.
at the entire. For example, for people who don't know, in CAT, it's a 100-mark paper, and 34 questions are,
Mm-hmm.
designed for, let's say, mathematics, and 34
Mm-hmm.
are designed for English. So don't look at 34 questions. Look at what questions you're good at, and
Yeah.
break down those areas and everything. So that's a
Very
big takeaway. Also, Erica, I have noticed that since the time you joined the classes, July 2019, you joined the classes, and
true.
till October, November, your classes were going on. You didn't miss a single class, according to me. As per my attendance record, there was raining. It was a big city had a lot of problems that time. Bangalore. For people who don't know, we live in Bangalore city, and I'm the center manager for Jayanagar Center for Career Launcher, and she was the student who came in July 2019, and she started classes for 4 to 5 minutes for a crash course kind of a thing. But still, 5 days a week she did not attend. She did not miss any single class. I want to know why. So why did you you don't have a life or what, or like like you were so persistent that every day I have to come? What was the motivation basically? Because what I've seen is students, they come, there's no consistency. You and one more student, Guna, were consistent, complete consistent with the classes at least. So what motivated you to attend the classes? That's, if you can share with students, that would be very helpful. Yeah.
So see, part of that came from the fact that when I looked back, so I saw that, okay, I graduated in 2017. Right now I'm working in a startup. That time I wasn't entirely sure that, okay, do I want to stay in the startup forever? Because MBA would have given me that strength that, okay, this is the
Yeah.
field I've chosen. So that time you can say, Shobha, that it came out of a little bit of maybe desperation that I wanted to prove myself. Because, okay, one exam I was not able to perform despite giving it my best, but I was not going to let this be another incident where I couldn't perform. That
Yeah.
was one. And the second thing was, to be honest, the teachers were so good that did not want to miss any of the classes. Because once I missed that class, the opportunity of asking questions in class, getting clarifications, I would not get that again. And
Yeah.
third, the most important thing is, even on the days I didn't want to, because I'm human after all, there were some days I was too lazy. But the most important thing is to just show up. Because once, even if I didn't feel like it, once I reached the center, met you, met Ujjwala, met the teacher, sat in class, and then started solving those sheets, I never regretted ki, oh my God, why did I come to class today? It was always that, thank God I did not miss today. So these
Yeah.
three things are the biggest reasons.
Great, awesome. So you are telling that even if you don't feel like coming to the class, even if you don't study in the class, let's say, but still if you come, you will have at least have the mental satisfaction that you came, and at least
Exactly.
in a 2 hour class, at least 15, 20, 30 minutes can be a takeaway. So that's also like
Yeah.
important stuff. Yeah.
And the thing is
Mm-hmm.
that once, so I study at home alone, right? So once I come to class, I have maybe five, six, or eight people around me who are my contemporaries. So we are
Mm-hmm.
solving questions together. So there is a thing to be said about teamwork and working in groups
Mm-hmm.
that cannot be substituted for. So that is another
Mm-hmm.
thing that I used to
Yeah.
come to the classes.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. So, Erica, also for students to know what was your like daily schedule when you were preparing, especially in the last 3 months before.
Mm-hmm.
November and December was your
Yeah.
exams, and in the month of July and August, what was your like daily schedule in on a weekly basis? How much time you were giving, and
Mm-hmm.
how did you manage your studies? If you can share that, that would be great.
So here there was a danger of fatigue setting in because I had
Mm-hmm.
already prepared for exams before. So
Mm-hmm.
then what I did was I drastically changed the place I used to sit in. So I
Okay.
tried to move my room, arrange my desk
Okay.
in such a way so that it
Okay.
becomes inviting for me, right?
Okay.
So it has to
Okay.
feel like you want to sit there and do your work.
Okay.
So beautified my table, did everything to make it very inviting. Then I
Mm-hmm.
realized I can't say that the whole day I have to study. I need to put
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
up in chunks. So then I made it a
Mm-hmm.
point that no matter what, I have
Mm-hmm.
class from
Mm-hmm.
4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose I used to come.
Mm-hmm.
So then in the morning, I will make it a point that I get up and I go to the gym. I exercise for some time. I come back,
Okay.
I take a bath, I shower, I eat breakfast, and then I sit to study for this amount of time.
Okay.
Then I had a framework because, oh God, from 3, I have to get
Yeah.
ready and leave. So I only
Mm-hmm.
have 4 or 5 hours before the class that I have to get ready for class. And after
Okay.
coming back, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then you are sleepy anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
then again, get up in the morning, do some
Mm-hmm.
work.
So
So it was,
before the class, what you were studying what you were going to attend in the class. Was that the agenda, or what you studied last day? What you were studying before the class?
so usually, mostly we used to have quantitative aptitude classes, and I was a little weak in that, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would usually not be able to prepare for the upcoming class. I would be
Correct.
practicing what we did yesterday. So what I
Mm-hmm.
did was in class, I used to write down the notes. Once I
Mm-hmm.
got back home, I made it a point to kind
Mm-hmm.
of share those notes like we used to do in
Correct.
school. So I would
Correct.
use
Correct.
the books that we've been
Mm-hmm.
given, the assignment, and make it into a beautiful like a A4 sheet. I would write down all the notes,
Correct. Correct.
all
Mm-hmm.
the questions, and then
Mm-hmm.
there would come any doubts that I had. So
Yeah.
these doubts would be earmarked to ask in the next class. Or if
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
teacher is not available, you guys always were ahead with providing us a WhatsApp number. So we would
Mm-hmm.
trouble them on WhatsApp, send.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. I think it's all about persistence. Like we
Yeah,
want to you want to excellence in that subject. We have to persist. Now,
yeah.
like 2-3 minutes, I want to spend on mock test, mocks preparation, because for any MBA aspirant, for people who are watching this, Mocks is like basically if you're not doing mocks, you will never be able to clear the paper in the flying colors. So,
Yeah.
Erica, how was your experience with the mocks? Like, did you got nervous? Did you got discouraged? Did you got inspired? How was your experience with the mocks? How did you prepare for it? What happened, and how did you got to know analysis, everything around mocks? How was the experience?
Okay, so initially when I gave the mocks, the teachers had also told us that you'll score very bad in your first mock. So don't even judge
Mm-hmm.
yourself based on
Mm-hmm.
that test.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I gave my first one or two mocks, it was really bad. I didn't know what to
Mm-hmm.
do. So I don't know if you remember this or not, but I started giving my first mock when we had not even done half of the topics
Yeah.
because I just wanted to get in that system.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So one entire section I didn't know how to do. So I would just sit there for 1 hour, look at that question, be like, okay, is there some way I can understand what if this makes sense? So it was
Mm-hmm.
just another, again, the same thing of showing up,
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
there and making sure that for that 1 hour you are sitting
Mm-hmm.
there in that environment. So in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
obviously it was bad. English was always my saving grace, for that matter.
Yeah.
So gradually when we started covering stuff in class, then I would go to the mock, solve those questions again. The things that I got wrong, then I would analyze them, that okay, these topics are which I'm consistently getting wrong. So is
Yeah.
it worth for me to spend time on this topic, or should I move on? Like for
Correct.
example, there is a topic in arithmetic called logs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something I could never, not arithmetic, I think algebra. So I'm getting a
Algebra.
little confused. So I'm done with
Algebra.
maths a little. So that's why.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was this topic called logs, and some people in my class could get it really well, but I never could.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment I
Mm-hmm.
got that sheet, I put a big cross on it. I said, I'll do every other topic. I cannot do this. So
Yeah.
then it was put to the side. That was out of my
Mm-hmm.
mind, and I was
Mm-hmm.
focusing on other topics which I could do well.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think that is the entire point of doing mocks, especially since I had a crash course, like a very
Mm-hmm.
short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to decide which topics I wanted to give priority to. So if one
Mm-hmm.
topic is giving me more marks and it takes less
Mm-hmm.
effort from me, why not focus on that rather than break my head over a topic which I know I don't may not be able to do it, and exam may not fetch me many marks. So it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just not a matter of hard work but also smart work. So you have to plan and
Mm-hmm.
execute.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, for students who are watching this, I think strategic preparation with mocks is the key.
Definitely.
If you're just attending classes, studying
Mhm.
randomly, that will not help you, especially in the paper like CAT and MBA entrance.
Yeah,
You really need smart work. You really need strategy. You need to understand how to plan your study. What not to study also is all part of. For example,
exactly.
every topic should not be touched. There are some
Hmm.
specific topics. There's a strategy attached to it. So I would
Yeah.
recommend everyone to make a plan. If you feel like you don't have a plan yet, contact me.
Mhm.
I'm working in the field of MBA. I have good mentors. I can arrange sessions for you free of cost. So have that. Yeah. So Erika, now once you got a call from XLRI and other good colleges as well, how in terms of your PDP preparation, that is your personality
Mhm.
development, your form filling,
Mhm.
your SOPs, your experience in interviews, how did that went? I know it was not a smooth journey also for SOPs, because justifying
Mhm.
from coming from law by management, I'm sure. So
Mhm.
how was that experience, like how was your SOP and interview and all that experience went for you?
So the thing is that given that so many teachers are present in Career Launcher, I had a very variety of interview experiences. So there
Mm-hmm.
were some interviewers who were nice and who listened to me. There were some who would not give me the time to finish my entire point. So I would have to hook them onto what I was saying. So they made
Correct.
it a little difficult for me. But it was a variety of experience because you don't always get nice interviewers. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing I have to mention here is that when we give interviews, the
Mm-hmm.
teacher will give you all sorts of questions. They'll try to confuse you
Mm-hmm.
or intimidate you. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is that the questions that you asked from me in the interview, in the mock interviews, did not really figure in the actual interview. But these
Okay.
interviews, mock interviews, gave me the art of thinking and then answering. So when I would give mock interviews, I realized there were some things that I was repeatedly doing which I was not supposed to do. One thing was that whenever the interviewer would ask me a question which was a little controversial for me or something like that, I would
Mm-hmm.
become a little aggressive in the way that I would put forward my point. So
Mm-hmm.
then they told me that this is not something which is desirable. We can be assertive, but we have to be polite and firm in what
Mm-hmm.
we say.
Correct, correct.
Second thing was that I would sometimes I would not even take a moment to let the questions sink into my mind
Mm-hmm.
before replying. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
Srinivasa telling me, you don't have to be an AK-47. Take some time to stop and think. He
Mm-hmm.
actually wrote it in my sheet. Don't be an AK-47. So that was to,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
me again and again to remind me that take some time,
Mm-hmm.
think, and then reply. And to be honest, I actually did this in the actual interview. When they asked me a question I wasn't very sure of, I was about to jump in with an answer. Then I remembered Srinivas's sir's statement, and I asked them that, sir, can I please have some time to think? And they were more than happy to give me that time. But had I not have these mock interviews, I would have never known that there are some blind spots in my preparation.
Yeah.
So this mock interview preparation is really very important. And given so many teachers that I did it with, I faced the interviews with, so it was really helpful.
So basically, would you say that interview again is an art, is a skill?
Yeah.
You need to practice it. It's not that because you have been confident on your life or you are a very good debater, you can still master the interview. It's again, you have to be systematic, strategically prepare for interviews as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. If experience definitely helps. I mean, if you're a debater and you have experience in these kind of situations, but I would still suggest to get some mock interviews with people who have actually been to these IIMs, so they know the kind of attitude they are looking for in prospective candidates, and you never know what blind spots you have, which you cannot tell. Somebody else knows.
Yeah. So Erica, last question of the day before I wind up. If there is a CAT aspirant or MBA entrance, person who wants to do an MBA and preparing for it, three major advice or the first advice you would give to them. As let's say November is the exam, it's actually June ending. It's exactly the time when you started your preparation. So if with your experience in last 1 year, what is the suggestion would you give them? Three major suggestions.
Okay, I don't know if I have three, but one thing that I definitely learned and trusted, you are taking it for somebody who has failed in like two exams, like 1 or 2 exams before. So I'm speaking from experience. When I say that, give it your best shot, but don't rely on the results. Once I gave the CAT exam and I gave the SAT exam, you know that my percentile was 92 percentile. And you know how disappointed I was. I've sent you messages. So I had totally given up hope. But the thing is that when I got the call and all that, all the good things happened, I realized that one thing I've learned is that we cannot let the results define us, define our talent. If not this B school, then maybe some other court or the Supreme Court, you never know. So my first advice is give it your best, but don't let the results define you, because we don't have any hand in how the results come out, right?
Correct.
And so I don't know if I would have any other advice. The second is just practical things, like make a plan and stick to it. Don't just go all out, and then it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So just planning is very important. But the first lesson which I've learned from 2017 to 2020 is just that follow your own system, make those habits, and give it your best, but don't rely on the results to define you. That's
Third, I would add from my end is basically have a mentor, and don't do it on your own. It's not a do-it-yourself preparation. Especially any entrance exam where lakhs of students are sitting and there are few thousands of seats are available. You need someone with experience. You need someone with. You can prepare for CAT in 10 years, maybe 5 years, maybe on your own. But in 1 year or two, a few months, you need specific strategic mentoring. Any institute, I'm not talking about institute that we were associated, any institute or any mentor, get a mentor is very important. In fact, in my own life, apart from the MBA entrance, I'm doing knowledge transformation, I'm doing book reading, all those stuff that I have been building my own. I have always, I've invested a lot in my self development, in my own getting a mentor basically for me. So when you're preparing something so huge where you are spending 10-20 lakhs of fees in the next 2 years, I think spending a few thousand on a mentorship program, in a training program, like Erica did or many other students, it's a worth investment. I would recommend that. So because I've seen students who have been, they came and they really utilize the mentoring program. So as you said that, you attended every single class, you gave the mock, it all comes with a part of the program. So it's not only about the classes, कि चलो classes की जरूरत नहीं है, classes में जाना पड़ेगा. It's not about that. It's about the resources that will come with your mentoring program, with the program that you will prepare. So that's also very important.
Yeah.
Erica, that was an amazing interaction. I'm sure we got a lot of insights, and I'm really happy for you that you have got XLRI, one of the best institute in the country, and you are someone who is very good with people management. You are someone who is very congenial. You are someone who is very, very, very authentic and very empathetic when it comes to human relations. So you choosing a program specialized in HR is something which a country needs, these kind of professionals with us. And I would recommend. I'm really. I could say that proud of you also, because I know that if I can mention, your percentiles were in negative. And
Yeah.
from that you have built up to be in 70s, 80s, 90s. The journey, every single day you have worked, you have confessed the mistakes that you have made. Every single next day you are making the amendments in that. So I've seen the journey, because as you said, I've been the prime contact for you for the preparation. So I've seen that, and this kind of consistency, this kind of diligence, and this kind of consistency is required for the preparation of these national level entrance exams. So kudos to you, and I'm sure you will do great in your 2 year of MBA program.
Thank you.
And I'm sure in the next coming years you will do something great for the society and the corporate world and the entrepreneur that you always, in your initial dream of doing something for the society, you will definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah. So before we wind up, any last thoughts, any feedback for me or anything that you can just go ahead and then we'll wind up.
Yeah, something I wanted to do is I want to say thanks. So over these years, there are too many people to say thanks to, but those who come to mind. Firstly, I would like to say thanks to my center manager, that is you, Shobit, because it was you who finally convinced me that I could do it and I could give this MBA exam and perform well in it.
Yeah.
Second is to the senior counselor Ujwala. So she, like I've mentioned before, she was the one who would give me that mental fortitude and make sure that I left the center with a smile and not with a defeatist attitude. So, and the beautiful part is that beyond professional relationships, we grew into friends. So
Correct.
beyond classrooms. Then
Yeah.
Srinivas sir was instrumental in making me believe in myself, saying that Erica, you have been able to solve these questions. Stop telling yourself you can't do it. You can actually do it.
Correct.
So
Correct.
third, I
Correct.
would like to say thanks to them. Of course, my parents and my family who stood by me in all those
Yeah.
times when I was not sure of myself.
Yeah.
And finally, I don't know, it may sound unconventional, but I want to thank my cats as well. So I have
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
pets. They're two cats.
Yeah.
So, so
I actually thought of bringing them up. I completely forgot. Good that you brought them up. Are they around? Yeah.
no, actually, I kept them outside because they might want to go in
Yeah.
and come out.
So
So
Erica is a cat person like me, and
yeah,
I think it's a very nice thing to have two cats around you, and it's very refreshing and very good to feel good factor to have pets around you.
yeah,
I
definitely.
genuinely support that, and I also support animal welfare.
Yeah,
In one point of time I will definitely do something about it.
mm-hmm.
I'm in a program called as leadership program, where I'm learning in my life, building a network of your own online and everything. And they tell me that 10% on your total earnings you
Mm-hmm.
should spend on charity. I discussed that with you earlier.
Yeah,
So I genuinely want to do that with cats and stray animals especially. So that's
yeah.
something which I don't want to give money to anyone, any
Mm-hmm.
organization. That's not something which I believe. Writing a check is the most simple charity you can do, and
Yeah.
that's something which you should not do. I want to build a shelter for stray animals. I would like to build a cafe for a cat
Mm.
cafe, something like that, where
Yeah,
cats are nurtured, they are loved by people or
yeah.
something like that. That's something which I want to do. And
And
as
it is a
entrepreneur, yeah,
beautiful, it is a beautiful thing that you're
yeah,
planning to do because
yeah, yeah.
even during this pandemic, you must have seen that people used to feed those animals. Suddenly, these animals are just roaming
Yeah,
around
yeah. I
without any.
mean, just this elephants news that we got to know
Yeah, yeah,
in a few days ago. That was heartbreaking.
very
And
heartbreaking.
it's just that, and yeah, one more thing that I would like to share that here, that as entrepreneurs, people who are watching this for MBA entrances, it's not only about the corporate world. It's not only about the what how much good profile you can get. I also believe that what changes you can bring to society around you, that also defines your education. And
Mm.
this education I've got in the last 1 year, that
Yeah,
what you're doing around you, that's also very important. So I would like to have an education of about animal welfare and all these to
mm.
schools and all that other kind of programs also I want to like to invest. So,
Yeah,
so that people can understand, because pets is a concept which was like I've done a lot of research in this. People believe that it's a urban concept.
mm.
Having a pet of your own, and
Yeah.
बड़े लोग
Mm.
रईस लोग करते हैं, हमको क्या जरूरत है इसकी.
Fancy things. Yeah,
Fancy things. People don't understand that actually it's like adopting a member of in your family, and it's giving a
yeah,
shelter to your house. So having a pet, especially when you have feelings and with your open arms, if you adapt, it's actually a good practice. PETA, the organization,
mm.
Prevention and Ethical Treatment of Animals, it's an international organization. They promote having a pet, and that
Mm.
they promote nurturing a pet at your home. So that's something
Yeah,
which you should do. And genuinely, as myself, and I'm an MBA. and I want to do something on this field, and maybe we can collaborate one day and do something on this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I can hear the cat sound.
Yeah, he's crying now.
Okay. Chalo, Erika, anything else, or should we wind up? Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank you so
your,
much.
thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
your
much for
insights.
having me, for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with you. Thanks a
Of
lot.
course, of course. Thank you so much, and all the best for your XLRI journey. Please don't forget us after becoming a star.
No, no, I won't. Thank you.
Okay.